Meg and Sam ran helter-skelter down the dusty lane to the farmhouse. "Mother, Mother," Meg shouted, "guess what we heard in the village? They're going to start next week." But Prince tripped Meg up, and Sam, triumphant, panted out, "We met Mr. Oates at the general store when we were getting the nails, and he said they're getting ready to build the school soon, maybe next week." "Don't say anything more. Wait for me," Meg shouted. "Quiet down, both of you," said Mother. "Now, start over." "It's true," said Meg, still breathing hard. "They're going to build a school and have a grand opening on the 24th of May, Queen Victoria's birthday, with a militia band and—" Sam broke in, "and a picnic, and races, and Mr. Oates said we were to tell Grandpa." Mother smiled. "Yes, you'd better tell Grandpa. He's in the barn. Oh, he'll certainly be pleased." There had never been a proper school in the township. Old Captain Trenholm held classes in his parlour, but these were too expensive for most families. After much discussion and prodding from Grandpa Carter, the village had decided to build a school. Grandpa was appointed a school trustee, and he was as keen as Meg to see the school built. Mr. Oates said they could build on the corner of his south lot, where it met the county road. Grandpa had taught Jean and Meg and Sam to read and write. But, he said, you need arithmetic, geography and history too, and so do the other children around here. So now the children ran to tell their grandfather the news. "That's good," he nodded. "We've been too long without a school. I've taught you about all I can. And Jean's beyond me." At Jean's name, Meg and Sam rushed off to tell their sister the news. "She's in the milk shed," called Grandpa. Jean shook her head slowly. "I don't think I'll be going to school. I'm 14 now, and Father says I've had enough schooling. Mother needs me home." "Let's talk to Grandpa about it," said Meg. "He'll want you to go." Next morning, after milking, Father announced that he was going into the village. "Mother says she's almost out of flour, so I'll take some grain to the mill." "Good," said Mother. "We'll all go. There are other things we need at McKim's." Mother and Jean packed eggs and butter and some of Mother's special gooseberry tarts into the wagon. Mr. McKim would apply them against their account and sell them in the store. They left Father at the mill and went on to the general store. After settling with Mr. McKim, Jean looked at the yard goods. "Oh, Mother," she pleaded, "look at these pretty cottons. I do need a new dress." And Mother agreed to look. While Grandpa discussed the new school, Meg and Sam stood before the counter with the penny candy. What should they choose? Bullseyes or fruit drops? Or maybe barley sugar twists? The men were deep in discussion about the building of the school. "If we're going to have a big show for the 24th, said Grandpa, "we better get started Monday. Charlie will need time to make the desks." Almost every man in the village was there with his tools. Mr. Henry, who liked to think of himself as a master builder, was in charge. When Meg and Sam arrived at noon with lunch for their father and grandfather, Meg could hardly contain herself. "Look, Sam, it's started. They're really building it." By late afternoon, as the women arrived with the food, the men were just finishing the roof. "That's a good day's work," said Mr. Henry. "A few hours more tomorrow and she'll be finished." Everyone was more than ready for the supper that had been laid out. And after, there was music. and even some dancing on the uneven ground. Meg was so excited about the new schoolhouse that she was back next morning, watching as the stove and smokestack were put in place. After supper, Grandpa assured her that the desks would be in place very soon. "It'll be good," said Mother, "to have a place to meet. We ladies have been thinking of starting a woman's guild, or even a literary society." "I'm sure the Agricultural Society will hold their meetings there," said Father, "and the Temperance Society, too." "I can hardly wait for the picnic at the opening," said Jean. "Are they really going to have fireworks? I hope my new dress is finished in time." The 24th of May finally arrived. Meg danced around. "Oh, I do want to hear the band." "I'm going to win one of the races," boasted Sam. It was clear nobody in the village was going to miss this event. The family had settled under a shade tree and were chatting with the neighbors when the door of the schoolhouse opened and the band of the militia stepped out, playing a brisk march. Thanks to the generosity of Mr. Oakes, who donated the land, and to the members of the community who worked so hard, we now have our new school. And on behalf of the school trustees, I declare it open. Everyone cheered. Then Mr. Henry talked some more about the village growing, about prosperity just around the corner, and about honoring the Queen on her birthday. After the speeches, there were games and races. Just as he'd said, Sam won the three-legged race with his friend Jimmy. Quite a number of eggs were dropped in the egg race. And the village team won the lacrosse game after quite a struggle. Then the women laid out food: roast ham and chicken, potato salad, pickles of every kind, bread and rolls baked that morning, apple pie, butter tarts and maple sugar cake. Everybody had brought their best. Suddenly, as the sun went down, there was a flare of light at the end of the field. Fireworks! Meg and Sam watched till their eyes started to droop. They were asleep in the wagon before it reached the main road. As they did their chores next day, all Meg could talk about was the school and what the teacher would be like. "She'll be here next month," said Jean. "And guess what? I'll be going to school. Grandpa has convinced Father to let me go until I finish the last book of lessons. Then maybe I'll become a school teacher, too."